Episode of Trade Talk. This week we have HellBoy Volume 1, Seeds of Destruction, written and drawn by Mike Mignola. I'm going to apologize in advance. For some reason, I have a really hard time saying Mike Mignola. I don't know why. It's a tongue twister for me. Seeds of Destruction is the original HellBoy series that kind of launched the character. This trade collects the two short stories that kind of marketed and got HellBoy's name out there back in the mid 90s, or early 90s, 93. So we get those in the back. My opinion is they should have been up in the front, but I understand why they are where they are. Yes, we get the sense of HellBoy as this monster fighting kind of guy, very, I guess Van Helsing type, as far as what Van Helsing has become more than what he originally was. Just all kinds of craziness, Nazis, gorillas, slaves, dog gods, dog god, kaiju monsters, shit like that. Was kind of as how HellBoy was pitched. But then there's the actual series. Now, Mignola is a big Lovecraft fan. For Jack Kirby, H.P. Lovecraft, and my lovely wife Christine, and the amazing Elmer Newton. Right off the way, dedicated it, among others, to H.P. Lovecraft. And Jack Kirby. So Mignola is obviously a big fan of comics and a big fan of Lovecraft, and the Lovecraftian influence is definitely felt in his work. As we start the official series off with a field report, which is just a very Lovecraft way to do things. We've been here for 2 days now, and it isn't getting any better. Yeah, it screams Lovecraft. As a Nazi science group, whatever, performs a ritual to try to bring about the apocalypse, because we're in the closing days of World War II, and Hitler is enacting doomsday plans, kind of burn the world down if he can't rule it kind of thing. And that doomsday plan is successful because HellBoy is brought into the world, but he's brought into the world under the care of the Americans and is raised working with the BPRD. So we got 50 years later, and HellBoy is visiting the man who discovered him, who he sees as a father. And he's asking him about a recent trip that he just returned from the Arctic, and is not sure what happened to him there because he seems to have gone maybe a little crazy. But before they can really get to the bottom of the mess, he's killed. He dies really, really early, and was killed by this frog-like monster that HellBoy has to fight. So it's very disappointing, clearly. And yeah, so the mystery begins. Where did this monster come from? What did his father see in the Arctic? And then there's the underlying thing of who were the members of the Nazis, the Nazi group that did the ceremony to create HellBoy. And then it continues to be very Lovecrafty. They go to a house on the water and all this shit. And the plot kind of develops basically the Arctic expedition discovered Rasputin, who's really an old mystic wizard and had communed with a Cthulhu-like being, and was helping it to destroy the world. and wanted HellBoy there as a servant. And yeah, it's a big complicated, mythic thing. It works a lot better in story. It really does play well on the page in the moment of reading it. Trying to summarize it and talk about it after the fact does kind of make it sound incomprehensible. It really isn't. I at no point felt like, wait, what's going on? I feel like everything that happens here, all the plot developments, were explained in a really clear and concise way. So let me look here because I think I said okay, so Mignola is obviously the creator of HellBoy. It looks like he probably plotted this, and John Byrne did the scripting. So John Byrne probably came in and cleaned up his work a little bit, but it's definitely Mignola behind the story itself, from the sounds of it. Which is to say, there's a lot of really crazy stuff going on. Mignola gives himself excuses to draw some absolutely fantastic imagery of just pure horror and creepiness. And Mignola loves to draw with heavy shadows and stuff. Very, very dynamic, instantly recognizable art style, which is really cool for him. Anyway, the team of Abe Sapien, HellBoy, and Liz is able to defeat Rasputin, destroy the old Lovecraftian god, and escape in the end, which is it's pretty typical way to end a horror monster story. But there are, of course, still the other Nazis that were there the night HellBoy was summoned to Earth, and they remain lingering in the shadows, which sets us up for the next volume, the continuing story. Again, really, really, it's a very atmospheric book. This kind of stuff right here. I love me some silhouettes and shadow play and stuff, and just, God, Rasputin looks so deliciously evil here. I kind of dig it. There's a real sense of just how powerful and scary he is. And what I really like about it is there is a mystery aspect to this, but there's a horror aspect, there's a mystery aspect, but there's also an action aspect. And I feel like a lot of things do horror action, and then there's no sense of mystery or intrigue. You kind of see the monster right away, and that's the end of it. Or they do horror mystery, and you just never get to see the monster or anything. It relies entirely on building suspense, and that can get kind of boring. This manages to really masterfully play with all three of those elements. I never feel like I'm just waiting for something to happen. I'm like, I feel the sense of weird and creepiness that the monstrosities and the ideas the book is playing with. But there's also this underlying building mystery, which does make it feel very Lovecraftian. And so just a lot of stuff in here. Really, really solid work. Really, really beautiful comic right here. I've never read HellBoy before, and so I'd always kind of been interested, and I'm just trying to do a lot more independent, get some independent stuff and some more Marvel stuff. And so I was very, very pleased with this. I thought it was really, really good. So yeah, HellBoy Volume 1, Seeds of Destruction. Would recommend to people. I thought it was a really good read and really interesting, particularly if you're into Lovecraft at all. This is a good thing to pick up. So it just makes me want to rewatch the Ron Perlman movie too. Alrighty. I think that will do it for this episode of Trade Talk. Everyone, thanks very much for watching. Until next time. Bye. And there we have it. Oh, man. Man. What a day. Philip Kelton is in the comments asking me about Paul Newman's Green Lantern. Okay, so here are my stipulations. One, Paul Newman, 60s, 70s Paul Newman as Green Lantern, but looking good in a costume that would be conceivable to actually be filmed in the 60s or 70s. That's what I want to Photoshop of Newman as Green Lantern is. Do it. It'll be beautiful. All right. I think that's going to do it for comic reviews, everyone. I hope you enjoyed. Hope you had a good time. I will catch y'all on the flip side. Till next time.